Hello and welcome to the Non-Fungible Stories Show. This is your host, Non-Fungible TC, Non-Fungible Today, and Non-Fungible Tomorrow. If you're new to the Non-Fungible Show, this is a show where we invite, people, interesting people in the stories to the show to talk about Web 3.0 and maybe probably NFTs and the metaverse. So today we're truly very honored to have Roh on our show. He is the one who figured out that the initial Lil Baby Apes project was stolen from its creator. So GN Roh, how are you?
I'm doing well.
So, well, can you, just tell us about the Lil Baby Apes project and how do you find out about the project?
Sure. So I found the project like a lot of people did Sunday night, the past week. And so I purchased a couple because obviously it was I like the art and it was getting it was picking up some traction and some steam. So I purchased the project, and the next day I woke up and obviously the project was doing extremely well. The floor of that particular project was doing great. And so I was in the Discord with a lot of the other members, and we were just, having a great time. And it was at that particular point in time when I saw a message, in that Discord that was there for about 15 to 20 seconds before it got deleted. I'm assuming the person who sent the message was banned, but this was a message from Kakashi, right? This is the moniker. He goes by Kakashi Nakamoto, who, I'm standing behind as kind of the original creator of the artwork.
Okay.
So he was in there, and he had basically made a claim that he was the one who created this art. He was the one who the way he kind of stated was, hey, this is a copycat project, right? And he shared a few links. So from there, I went as someone who kind of understands how to read Solidity, understands how the blockchain works, understand how to read through transactions and all that good stuff. It just piqued my curiosity. So I opened the links that he had sent, which was, I think he had sent a Discord, either a Discord link or a Twitter link. And then he also sent the contract link, right? He said, this is the contract that I launched and it was stolen. So I opened up Etherscan, right? If you go down in are we sharing our screen yet? Or not yet?
We are on the website right now. We're showing the Heist.
I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, if you go to the original Lil Baby Ape Club, that link. So this was the one that he linked to me, right? And I pulled this up, and obviously now it has sold out. But at the time, there was only one transaction, which was deployment, right? It's like, when was this transaction created? So I looked at, the first thing I saw was that this contract, if you go back to Etherscan, you will see that it says the name right there, right? The tracker. And it says Lil Baby Ape Club.
Yep, the Lil Baby Ape Club. Yeah.
That right there is the name of the contract, right? It's the name of the minting contract of the ERC 721 contract that Kakashi had deployed, or that was deployed. It shares the same name, obviously, as the other contract, right? The copycat one. And so that's the first thing I saw, right? And so my first thought was, hey, this is somebody who had a similar idea. They wanted to do Lil Baby Apes, and they launched the contract, and they're just upset that there was a different project that launched their contract, right? Or launched their idea first and is doing well. So that was my assumption.
Yeah.
So I did what I did, and I kind of went through the actual contract. I ran a function on that particular contract, and I checked the art that it was using. I just wanted to see what the art would look like.
Okay.
And I queried, in NFTs, there's the way the art is kind of reflected is using something called the base URI. This is basically the thing that ERC 721 tokens point to, and this is what shows all of the metadata, right? This includes things like the attributes and things like the picture, right? These are what makes your NFT different from my NFT, right? And so I checked and I queried the function, and I received that, right? The IPFS there. And we can should I explain what IPFS is?
Sure, it's up to you. Yeah, it's easier for the audience.
So IPFS stands for Interplanetary File System. It's a way for people, it's a distributed way for people to share data, right? Or store data, rather. And so when something is uploaded to IPFS, it is shared amongst different peers in the network. It's kind of like how torrenting works. If anyone has ever done torrenting, when you download a file using torrents, you're downloading it from other people, and they are the ones sending the little chunks of data, right? So IPFS works in a similar way, right? If you are uploading something to the IPFS network, that data is shared across different peers or different nodes in that network, and that's how people can access that data without it being in a centralized location. When something is uploaded to IPFS, right, there's a hash that is generated. So this is what happened here. This is that generated hash. This is the one that Kakashi, he took his artwork, he took his metadata, he put it in a folder, he uploaded it to IPFS, and he generated this particular hash, right?
Okay.
This is the thing it points to.
Okay.
So then Kakashi, I take this artwork and I look at it, or I take this hash and I query it and I look through the metadata and I look at the artwork, and what I find is that it's the exact same as the current one, right? So at this point in my discovery, it's kind of like, hey, you know what? They're using the same artwork, right? They're using basically the same, and there's different explanations that can happen, right? It's very possible that it is possible that maybe they commissioned the same artist. They had been working together prior, or whatever the case might be, right? Using that particular, using the same artwork. So I go into Nifty's or the other kind of copycat collection and I query that one. And for the base URI to kind of look through some of their metadata. And what I find is the metadata is the exact same, or the base URI is the exact same. Wow. So what had happened was Nifty hadn't created he didn't create and upload his own metadata pointing to the same pictures or using the same pictures. All he did was copy and paste Kakashi's metadata link and use that as his contract's base URI, right? It's kind of like if I'm project A and you're project B, and I'm project A and I upload a bunch of files to my website, and now they sit on projecta.com, right? Let's just say that. You're project B and you upload and you create your project, but instead of uploading it to projectb.com, you just show people the photos that I've uploaded on projecta.com. You're just pointing to projecta.com, right? So again, it's at that point it became kind of it became very clear, that this was something that was basically a stolen project, right? And so from there, I spoke to Kakashi personally because I went into his Discord and I kind of spoke to him. If you go into the Discord, you can see, if you go through the logs and the chats, you can see some of the earliest messages I sent were really him or really me just being like, hey, I noticed, I see what you're talking about, and I see that your project was stolen, right?
Yeah.
And so, that's basically how I came to that conclusion. There are a bunch of other things. If you open the Twitter thread that is posted and pinned, that entire thread outlines all of the documentation for how these things, all of the points of proof, right? The website was registered before. Kakashi's website was registered before. If you click on the second tweet, the OpenSea link.
This one?
Yes. If you click on that link, you will find a image. So this is the copycat collection, right?
Okay. This is the copycat collection.
Yeah. If you actually look at the metadata and go to the description right there, above the description, you will see
this one.
The website, right? That website is Kakashi's website. Okay. Right. So again, it all ties back into the fact that Nifty didn't actually upload or create any of the metadata. Instead, he is simply just pointing to the one that Kakashi had made.
Yes. Wow. So he just stole all of the image. He just stole it. He just pointed his own project. He didn't even upload his own. He didn't
even copy paste. He didn't even copy the actual he didn't even upload it himself. Yeah, he just points to what Kakashi had already uploaded, which is why the metadata all overlaps.
Okay, this is indeed very interesting. And then he didn't even bother to change the description for some of the NFTs because it points back to the legit website, which is the one that Kakashi has made, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay,
and again, It's not just that. I would say the tweet thread does a great job of documenting all of the different pieces. There's more to it, or there's additional points of evidence, right? If you just scroll quickly, there's the deployment date. There's the metadata. It's, this is what resonated with me because I prefer to look at things like the blockchain, to look at transaction histories. Those are the pieces of evidence that I can get behind, right? But again, everyone speaks to something different, right? Some people wanted Kakashi to show the assets, so the screenshots there are all screenshots of Kakashi showing, the different
graphic, the design,
the original PSD files that he has access to and stuff like that. So that's kind of what those things show.
Okay. Because this is very interesting. The other day I saw that Adobe is actually going to provide a function where you could use Photoshop, which I think Kakashi is using, to export a graphic as an NFT so that the collector's wallet would actually be linked into the metadata of the image themselves. So this is how you can verify in the future. Cool. I'm not sure if you've heard of this before.
I haven't. But that's interesting.
Yeah. So it is going to be a new feature, but I'm not sure whether, because you said what happened was that the person who stole the collection basically just pointed, directly to his own collection and retrieved metadata from there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. So unless Kakashi could say, okay, this is my wallet, I'm the legit creator of this project, then he could verify based on the metadata, which is the wallet address. Or else it's very hard for people to tell which one is which. It doesn't solve the problem of what we have right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So from what you have said, I think that in order for our viewers to prevent themselves and to do the research in avoiding scam projects or workflow projects, is that they should really dig into the smart contract. Look at if there are two duplicate contracts. Look at the minting date, because it's very likely the deployment date. So the first one that deploys it is more likely to be the legit project.
Yeah.
And also the domain name registration, where you could actually go to whois.com and then type up the domain name, and also to find out which one registered first, to kind of have a very idea which one is first, I would say.
Yeah, there's so many different things you can point to. For me personally, again, I was saying I resonate with the Etherscan, the blockchain data, right? I resonate with the transaction history. I resonate with how IPFS works. I resonate with how, those things, because they are decentralized and immutable and transparent, those things kind of made the most sense to me, right? Kakashi, when I spoke to him afterwards, provided me with some of the other proof, like the screenshots, the original assets, all of the different layers that you need if you want to do a generative art project, right? You don't... you hand draw the assets, but you don't hand draw every single NFT, right? You take those assets, use a script, and then you generate the different possible combinations, right?
Yes.
So those things, again, personally, they didn't resonate with me, which is why I didn't write about them. I just wrote about the transactions. But again, those things were made available to me. And I was at that point, I was pretty confident that, this person had their artwork stolen. So I just wanted to bring light to that.
Yeah, that it is interesting. So before our stream, right, I was on OpenSea, and then I saw all the trending collections, and Little Baby Ape Club is actually here, but this is the fake collection.
Yeah, correct.
Said, right?
Yeah.
So it feels kind of bad, because before I saw two collections with at the same time, which is Little Baby Ape Club, and then now this one is going up exponentially, and if this is indeed a fake one, then it is quite sad, because all the funds are going to a person who just stolen a whole project. So exactly like what you said, it's a heist.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've spent, a lot of us in the community, right? It's not just me. There's so many people kind of supporting the original creator. We spend a lot of time kind of discussing with different people about the situation here. I stand by what I originally found and sort of wrote about and have been kind of communicating, which is all of the evidence that I have seen has led me to the conclusion that this was a stolen project. And I've personally spoken with Kakashi. I obviously have seen him provide a lot of assets. I think there is a communication struggle, not because Kakashi can't, speak English. Again, he it's not his first language, but he speaks pretty well. I think just the way Kakashi is, he's very blunt, rough around the edges a little bit. Like very more of an just kind of like doesn't come across always as extremely professional, right?
Okay.
And I think people don't mind that. In a lot of ways, it can be very refreshing because at the end of the day, a lot of us didn't buy this NFT, buy this particular artwork, or join this community because Kakashi was a professionally like composed person, right? We did it because we liked the art and we wanted to support the creator behind that, right? So with that said, I've tried to help kind of Kakashi with the communication side of things, and that's kind of just been my prerogative.
Yeah. So just to let our viewers know, the one that's trending on the top right now, like this one without the hyphens, the Lil Baby Ape Club. This one is the fake one that you said, and the one with the hyphen is the real one that you said. So basically, the fake one was able to take the original, collection name and park it, and now it's gaining a lot of traction. Just to get the elephant out of the room. So this is the lilbabyapeclub.com, and this is the one that you said is the legitimate one. Yeah. I just wanted to address the elephant in the room, and that is because when I was doing my research, I found out that they put you as a PR person. But funny enough, when you mouse over your icon, it goes to a Twitter which is called Mr. Monkey. So it seems like this has been done really quickly. So they just put you in there, but they haven't fixed the hyperlink yet. So I just want to ask you about this. So are you part of the team? I know you said you're not part of the team. Can you tell us more about this? Like what happened here?
Sure. So Kakashi, I spoke to Kakashi after I wrote the Medium article. Excuse me. And at the end of the day, he basically just asked for my help. He's like, "Hey, can you help me with the PR stuff?" Right?
Yeah.
So I agreed to it. Right. I told him that I'm not going to be a part of your team. Right.
Okay.
I don't want that. Like I don't want that affiliation. But again, for some reason, he put me on the team list. I requested he take me down, just to clarify. And at the end of the day, I've been telling the people in the community the truth, which is, hey, like I'm not a part of his team. I am a community member who is just someone he trusts because I was the only person or one of the few people that was there early to kind of get his story out there, right?
Yes.
So there's a level of trust there. But at this particular point in time, I'm not part of the team. As for the website, again, I think there's a lot going on in terms of like things to do, right? Keep in mind, this was a project that Kakashi had not planned to launch this particular weekend. But it was a launch that was pushed forward because again, there was a copycat collection that was already there, generating attention and volume and things of that nature, right? So that is why the launch was pushed forward, and so a lot of those things were kind of rushed, right? Like streamlined, right? It happened very quickly, and so there are kind of some things that we would love to get corrected. I have requested Kakashi to do a lot of these things, and he is working on them. And really, my whole goal is to kind of try to set him up with a team long term. And I told him it doesn't have to be me. I'd be more than happy to help, but there are probably better people out there that will do his PR, community management, and all of those things, his marketing. There are better people out there that can do those things. And so my goal really is just to work with him to try to put together that team for him. But right now, that's the reason why I'm on the website. Again, I'm not affiliated with team. I took no upside in. I minted a few myself because again, I like the art. I got some early on with the copycat because I like the art and and all of that. But again, I took no part in the mint sales. I have no financial upside. Kakashi's not paying me, so again, it's just more of a community volunteer kind of thing.
The reason why I reach out is that it is very brave of you to write an article to speak out, especially in because for you there is no incentive for you to do this to speak against another collection that's trending number 6 right now. I mean, because the problem with NFTs is that a lot of people dedicate the effort, the time, dedicate the money, dedicate the Ethereum to purchase and support a project, and when there's another voice that's saying, hey, actually the project that we got in could be a scam, people could get defensive, but it didn't stop you from writing your article. I mean, like, I'm just out of curiosity, when you first written your article, how did the community respond? When you shared the article within the community, how did they respond? Were they offended, or how was it?
Well, it was a mixed bag, right? At the time when this kind of all broke out, it was also... I don't know if you're too familiar with the situation, but there were also some of the concerns about the racist traits that came out.
Yes, that's when I heard of it. Yeah, I heard of it.
Yeah. So, those things kind of, I would say the concerns about the racist traits dominated the conversation that first day, right? So when my article came out, maybe it was 10% of the situation. 90% of it, again, was really just about the racist traits. And, we had a Twitter space going. We had some of these things happening. So again, all of these things kind of, that was
at the same time.
And that was the bigger conversation. After that, though, I think throughout the week, it has definitely been more of a community gathering and supporting the original creator. And in a lot of ways, the community has worked and had worked with the original creator to remove some of those racist traits, and so that's kind of
okay. So that has been addressed already.
Basically. So Kakashi did go and with community feedback, it was kind of fun. We sort of did this together, but with community feedback, he basically went through and created some new traits, updated some old ones that were concerning, and that's what he went forward with, and he updated the art.
So out of curiosity, how do you think this thing transpired? Like, how did someone hijack Kakashi's project? So did he deploy the smart contract? He deployed all the images, but he decided it was not ready for minting yet. So he did not have a minting button on his website. Someone else found out and just basically copy and paste his code and deploy a new contract. Is that how it transpired? Like, is that what it happened?
That is so along those lines, right? Kakashi, personally, he believes that it was because he deployed to a test network. Rinkeby or something of that sort.
Yes.
I don't agree with that. Personally, I disagree. I think it was a matter of his contract getting sniped on Etherscan. So the way, and so this is the case, right? Whenever you launch a NFT project, at least as of this moment on Ethereum, on the Ethereum network, it is highly recommended that you deploy the contract not too long before or not too far away from when you plan to launch. So if you're launching in 2 days, or if you're launching in a few weeks, don't deploy the contract today, right? You might not need to do that, especially because you might make small adjustments towards the end, right?
Yeah.
And then more importantly, do not verify your contract until you are ready to mint, right? A verified contract is basically something that Etherscan allows users to do, or people authors of contracts to do. And the authors can go into Etherscan and they can submit the code that they use to write the contract. And that code will that contract will then be verified so that users can go and interact with that contract through Etherscan, right? They could write functions. They could, that's how people mint directly from the contract. You need a verified contract to do that, but that's how people can mint directly. And you can do things like check the base URI, check the art, things that I did when I was kind of investigating the situation in the first place. So again, that's my assumption as to what happened, right? And there are people who do this, right? Not because they want to steal projects. That's not usually why they do it. But there are people who will look at Etherscan and snipe verified contracts because they want to get access to things that are launching early. They want to get whitelist access. They want to see like, hey, is this going to be the next big thing? And they're going to take the verified contract, look through some of the details, and try to find the Discord
next big
communities
thing.
or Twitter. Yeah, exactly. So they're trying to find the next big thing early so that they can get early access, right? That is why that is how people do verified contract sniping. And so my assumption is that's what happened, right? That's my best guess. No one except Nifty, the copycat, kind of knows what he did. But again, that's my assumption. That's my guess as to what happened.
Okay, so for your suggestions to NFT creators is to, only verify the contract when they are very close to minting, and also, trust the test network. Like it is unlikely for someone to steal a project in the test network. Is that correct?
I don't know too much about how people snipe things on the test network.
Okay.
I personally feel like it's not as common. And the reason I say this, I would say, period, be careful where you deploy your art, especially if you are not doing if you are trying to do a stealth launch, right? If you are not doing something where you are building an entire community first and getting people excited about the art prior to launching, then be very careful about where you're sharing your artwork, right? Which was the case here. The reason why people snipe verified contracts on the mainnet is because it's very expensive to deploy a contract on the mainnet, right? Especially a ERC 721 or an NFT contract. It costs, depending on gas, it can cost anywhere from 0.2 to 0.5 ETH to even just launch a contract, to deploy it on the network. So not everyone does it, right? On test network, it's a lot cheaper. So again, I can't speak to that. I will just say that if you are an artist or a creator or a team, just be cautious about where you're sharing your artwork and things of that nature, because those things can get again, those things are publicly available. Test networks are publicly visible. The Ethereum network is publicly visible, and so just be a little cautious.
Yeah, I think they would be cautious. After your Medium article, I mean, it is a very good reminder for NFT creators, because the other day I was talking with another project. Basically, what happened is they postponed the minting, but what was stolen was not the project themselves, but their collection name. So someone went on OpenSea, created a MetaMask wallet, and then decided to create a collection with nothing but to swap on their name. So we all have to be careful. Like it requires no technical skills, but things like this do happen. And when the collection comes out, they are unable to get the original name.
Yeah. I mean, in a weird way, like the community who have kind of been speaking with Kakashi from the early days have been critical, right, of him and his the way he went about launching, right? I think most projects don't go about launching this way for this exact reason. They try to build a community first and then kind of do a launch around that. But it's not, it's, to be fair, it's also not uncommon to get like stealth launches. They happen all the time, right? There's so many every day. I would just say, if you are dealing with some kind of stealth launch, just be a little more careful, do additional research. This is one of those situations though, that it's hard to, like, if I had seen Nifty's copycat contract and I only saw that, I would have never known, right? Because I don't know what Kakashi had already done. I didn't see, like, unless you see Kakashi's original contract and see all of those details, you don't have those. You don't have the ability to kind of make that distinction that, hey, this one is copied, this one copied the first one, right? You need the first one to be able to see that the second one was copied.
Yes, indeed. And right now I'm sharing the screen. I think a lot of people, what they do is they look at the top collection and they just go in without, as you said, doing the research or going through Etherscan. And I feel very bad. Like, you see 4,000 Ether transaction here with Lil Baby Club. So but there are some red flags, I think, because for this collection there is no website or anything.
The website was taken down.
It was taken down. And it's interesting. They have no blue tick as well from OpenSea. So I think OpenSea is definitely looking at this. I mean, it is gaining a lot of traction.
I personally know. Sorry to cut you off. I personally know OpenSea is aware of this issue, and they are looking through it. Kakashi obviously and his team have reached out to OpenSea and basically, well, initially they reached out through the support channels. OpenSea kind of responded to them and guided them through how to submit a official DMCA claim. So Kakashi has done that, and today's Sunday, at least in North America, and so the hope is, I believe Kakashi and his team for Kakashi and his team, the hope is that they'll get more details tomorrow. Or sorry, early this week. I apologize, early this week, because right now no one really knows how OpenSea is going to handle this.
Absolutely.
But it's just kind of a waiting game.
But on behalf of some community members or the community, NFT community, like, I just want to say thank you on the stream. I mean, like, it is important to have gatekeepers like you. You are the voice of reason, even though people might not like to hear it at that point of time. I mean, like, a lot of money have been going into this project, and you're speaking out, just to let people know, hey, it's, where you spend your money is all right, but I just want to let you know this is what I found out, and do your own research. So to wrap things up, I'm just curious, do you have any words for NFT collectors? Like, what tips and advice would you give them in the future when assessing a project?
Yeah. Well, first thing, I just want to speak on that really quickly about I appreciate the gratitude. Obviously, there are a lot of people that are currently holding the copycat collection that are not too happy with everything going on. And I understand that, right? I can empathize with that, and I can respect what they are like. Not respect, sorry, that's the wrong word. I can empathize with ultimately what their motives are and how they operate. For me, I just want to say, like, this has been more about a community effort. Like, I've just found myself in the position where Kakashi kind of trusts me in some way, because I think I brought this issue to light early on when basically there was no one else who could. But again, a lot of this has been driven by so many other community members that really I don't deserve any of this credit. Like, I promise you, when I say that there are so many other community members in the Discord really helping kind of share this and get this or really bring kind of justice to Kakashi and his team. So I just wanted to say that first. And then as for, your question about, like, what do I recommend other teams do or other creators do? It's hard, right? I think, again, the community and myself personally, we've been critical of Kakashi and how he went about doing this. But at the same time, like, we don't want to put a situation where creators feel like they can't create something if they don't have a massive team around them, right? If they don't have 4 people, 5 people who all like can do different, forms and functions and are all experts, right? We want this space to be available to creators. I would say personally, again, the recommendation here is, I would say this, the easiest recommendation: find a great developer who understands Solidity development, who understands blockchain very well, right? That I think will help weed out a lot of the potential technical issues and things of that nature. And so, I think when I see NFT projects that are collaborations by a really strong developer and a very creative artist, I feel like those are strong kind of, those have a lot of promise, right? I would say if you have that already set up, or if you are familiar at least with development work, don't verify your contracts on Etherscan until you are ready to launch, right? You can always deploy it. If you want to try to deploy it when gas is cheap, do that. But just don't verify it until you're ready to go. Maybe don't even upload or don't even update the URI to point to your artwork until you're ready to go. And you can always do that right before you launch, right? And sort of set it up that way so that you don't put yourself at risk of getting your data kind of looked at and stolen.
Okay, interesting. Thank you for the insight. And it seems like we do have some live viewers. If you guys are interested to ask some questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. So just a quick question. You said about verifying a contract. When an NFT creator verifies the contract, does it mean it becomes public?
Well, when a contract is deployed to the Ethereum network, it is there. It's public, right? The Ethereum network is visible. when a contract is verified on Etherscan, which is a little different from the Ethereum network, right? Etherscan is just a website that people can go to interact with things on the Ethereum network. So when a contract gets verified on Etherscan, it is simply a function that Etherscan provides so that people can then see and read the code on Etherscan. They can also read and write functions to against that code. So again, it's not about it becoming public. I will say it's more just about becoming accessible and publicly readable on one specific website, in this case, Etherscan.
Okay, interesting. So we do have some questions that I saw someone watching sharing. So someone said sharded data will prove the genesis to be from Kakashi. This should be considered one of the biggest heists in crypto history, in my opinion. That feature would have prevented all of this from happening. You have to switch to the 24-hour volume since over the week. The fake has a 5 days head start. So what do you think? Like sharded data, are you familiar with sharded data on the blockchain?
I'm actually not too familiar with what he means by that in this context. I don't know. I don't see the question, but if that person wants to expand on that,
okay,
we could
up the
potentially
question
talk
if you
about
want. So this is what he said. Sharded data will prove the genesis to be from Kakashi. This should be considered one of the biggest heists in the crypto history, in my opinion. It's just that one. So yeah, feel free to find Roh if you have any further questions.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Well, because I do have an understanding of what data sharding is. I'm just not too sure how that ties into Kakashi's. Yeah, exactly.
So, well, just out of curiosity, what is your background? Are you a blockchain developer or you work in IT security? I'm just curious whether it helps you in your detective work.
Yeah. So I mean, without kind of saying too much, I work in tech. I work in product. I do kind of development as a hobby. But again, I have a background in tech. So that's kind of where that stems from.
Okay, so I'm looking at the comment again. He said IPFS will save Kakashi is what mean. So basically he's trying to say that the data from IPFS would prove Kakashi's authenticity of his project. So which I think you touched already early on in the show.
Which is to that particular person who asked the question, which is what it showed, right? And which is again one of many of the different pieces of evidence that we saw. Personally, that was the thing that I resonated with. I'm sure they resonated with them too. So, or it resonated with them too. If you kind of like the blockchain and all that stuff, that's how people, that's what people like to see. So, I saw the IPFS data, and for that particular person, I'm not trying to plug my thing. I'm not trying to be a Medium articleist. I promise you, there's no other Medium post coming. I don't really care about that. But look at the Medium post. And that's kind of where you can see the IPFS hash and stuff like that. I'll pop up.
Yeah, the Medium post is attached in the description link. So if you want to look at Roh's Medium post again, you can click on it. So Roh, I know you have a very tight schedule. Thank you so much, and for joining the show on an ad hoc request. I just reached out to you on Twitter, and then you decided to join. I really appreciate this, and thank you for doing this to the community. And I think our time is almost up. For everyone who liked the content that you're watching, feel free to follow Roh and myself and like and subscribe to the channel. And Roh, do you have anything that you want to add before we end the stream?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, like, at this particular point in time, don't take what I say as gospel, right? Do your own research. I encourage everyone to do that. I know the team put together a tweet with some of the community members' help yesterday, where if you go on the Twitter accounts, Lil Baby Ape Club 1, you will find a pinned tweet at the very top of their page. It's basically a thread of all of the different pieces of evidence. I would say read through that. Again, don't take my word as gospel. I'm just kind of one person trying to shine light on it, just as so many other community members have been doing. But go through that. That's where you should look through it. And again, make a call for yourself. Make a judgment call for yourself.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, and thank you for all of our viewers for tuning in. We hope you live every day non-fungibly, and do be careful whenever you ape into new projects, especially with a lot of new trends popping up every day, a lot of new project whitelisting and stuff like that. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time.